When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
WTL.
It's time!
WTL.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
the J.O.
J.O. You're just so calm. You're so cool over there.
Oh,
Feeling pretty good? Feeling pretty good?
Feel pretty good. I mean, you know, anytime you come off of Husker win on a Saturday, you feel good.
It was a good win, too.
It really
as,
was.
as wild as that game was, it ended up being just a pretty good win.
Yeah, I was texting you in the middle of it, and I was nervous. Let's just say that.
That might have been the worst, 4 or 5 series that the Huskers have had under Matt Rule, the entire tenure. That was really bad in the second quarter. I think everybody was kind of sweating it there. Now, if you got your money in early with the Huskers, you got that 10.5.
Yes, you did.
And that's where we were at when we had the show. We liked that cover there, kind of going back and forth. That was definitely our threshold. And then, of course, they won by 11. So then that got bumped up to 12.5 in a lot of books. So, yeah, you couldn't quite get that. But you did cover the 10.5, which we saw a lot of earlier in the week.
You know, and we always said that was a little high.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And the overhit,
Yes.
which I was thinking maybe, you know, the under would be the play.
Yeah.
But they really started to pile it on there at the end, and I just couldn't have been happier about it.
Yeah. And, you know, we got some comments, some blowback, some constructive criticism on X and our YouTube channel, which we love that interaction, the back and forth. It's really good stuff. But one of our listeners said, you know, the wind and this and that is going to make for a tough day for the offense.
No, the wind.
And, you know, it made for some turnovers, right? But it didn't slow down the scoring.
Well, that's remember, the whole lot of the talk ahead of time was Michigan State's run defense is going to take care of business. And then immediately we just start pounding the rock. Emmett looks like an animal, opens things up for the passing game. Yeah. The win. My dad was talking about the win too when he came over to watch the game. He's like, yeah, but Jeremy, you know, the wind. And I'm like, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah. And Michigan State, man, their quarterback was a talented dude, as advertised. He made some plays that 4th and 4 that he scrambled all the way to the end zone. That was kind of felt like a backbreaker, but the old Huskers showed some resiliency. You mentioned that on Nebraska Football Now that aired earlier on Wednesday evening. That was a game where Nebraska had to kind of find itself, buck up, and play above it, and they did.
Yeah, and it felt like week one. Towards the end of that Cincinnati game where it was like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
And then this team, they came together. They found ways to win, even when there was a player on the other side that was really taking it to. It was a tough kid, too, that quarterback. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Very tough kid. Yeah. But, no, this is one of those wins that you hope you can look back to and say things really are looking different here, year 3.
They look different. They feel different. The coaches, I feel like they kind of speak differently as well. There's a little bit more swagger, a little bit more confidence to what they have to say, whether it's Matt Rule or any of the assistants, Butler, Holgerson, of course, Eckler. I don't think Eckler has a negative bone in his body.
No.
He is all energy, positive energy all the way. All right, we look back. Now we got to look forward here to really our first road game.
Yeah,
you
true
know,
road test.
First true road game against a very sneaky, talented team here in the Maryland Terrapins. This line opened up at 4.5. Nebraska being the favorites. That shot up to 6.5, and it's kind of stabilized there. There are some 7s out there if you're shopping it around, but 6.5 seems to be the consensus, and 47.5, 48 seems to be the total that everyone's settling on. And a lot of predictions have it right there. Nebraska 27, Maryland 21, 20, something in that neighborhood. Diving into the stats, there's some room for pause here. Maryland has a top 10 scoring defense in the nation. Number 7 overall. They are holding opponents to under 11 points per game. So it's kind of going to be a strength on strength. They have a really good, talented quarterback, one of those big arms, 5-star recruit guy, but he's a freshman. So it's going to be strength on strength. It's going to be their defense versus our, what we think is a pretty good offense, right? And they're pretty good, talented offense. They got I think 2 or 3 of their receivers average over 17 yards per reception. Big play guys. And it seems like Maryland's always sending a receiver or 2 to the league. All the way back to Torrey Smith and those guys. So, but we have the number 1 pass defense, right?
Yeah,
in the nation. So it's going to be strength on strength.
Maryland's 4-1 as well. I mean, we can't really set that aside. I mean, like you said, a sneaky opponent here.
Yeah, they feel like they gave away that game last week too to Washington. Yeah. They had that game controlled.
Now their pass rush does worry me against our offensive line right now, and I know our OC is saying, hey, of all the issues that we've had, I haven't pointed the finger at the offensive line yet. He said that just this week.
He did say that.
I'm pointing the finger. The offensive line hasn't been there, and we've seen it, week to week to week.
Yeah.
That's the part of the game I think that does worry me a little bit. They do get turnovers. They're graded elite in that regard. This is going to be quite the challenge for Nebraska, and as it should be. It's Big Ten football.
And it's on the road.
Yeah. So no, I'm excited for the challenge, but that's definitely kind of for me where the game starts is right there on the D line versus O line.
Damon Benning made the point, and he's made it a couple of times where that was the line, the offensive line, the configuration with Corcoran at right tackle, Pritchett at left tackle. You knew you were going to take your lumps. You knew you were going to see some penalties, this and that, some false starts. But that's where he thought it should have just been at game 1 and just you got to ride with it. And they finally settled on getting the most talented guys out there, what it looks to be. But now you're taking those penalties, those lumps that you would have hoped to have taken earlier in the season. But a lot of the guys, media personnel people, think that they finally got it right as far as the configuration with that offensive line.
I love seeing changes happen throughout the season and come out of it still 4-1. And say, all right, our best football is still ahead of us. I love that a team that's able to do that and is willing to do that, because sometimes you get a little stubborn,
Sure.
A coaching staff can say, no, these are my guys, and we're going to roll with it. But no, I 100% love it. It's 6.5 right now, and you said you saw some 7s. Do you see this as an opportunity if you get in on it early, like last week?
Yeah.
If you get in on it early, you might be in the winner's circle versus this thing growing?
Yeah, I do. I do have confidence in Nebraska, and I'm trying not to sound like a homer here. But there's all the teams that, if you're not Ohio State, you're flawed. Penn State, not even ranked anymore.
Oh, my.
Sorry, old Nittany Lion. Oh, and how about volleyball, real quick? Why
Just a straight sweep on them.
Why we're kicking them. Why they're down. Let's kick them some more there.
That's a beatdown.
Oh, my God. They scored 6 points in that first set. I was broadcasting a high school football game, and I'm looking during, quarters. Oh, my God, is this for real? Yeah, that was like the worst beatdown Penn State's ever taken, I think, in Big Ten play.
Without saying what the worst weekend is in Penn State history, because we're not going there, would you say this could be the second worst? I mean, this was pretty bad.
It was really bad. I mean, and now there's talk floating that Matt Rule's going to be at Penn State.
Yeah, no.
Let's hope not.
Looking for distractions is all that is.
Right. So my point was, all the teams are flawed. I think Nebraska is less flawed than Maryland. I think we can play some bully ball. I think we can push them around. I don't think our running game or rushing game is as bad as what everybody's making it out to be.
I agree.
If you look at Emmett Johnson, he's the 3rd leading rusher in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's better than, 12 other teams in the Big Ten? So not too shabby,
Yeah.
right?
I'd take him over anybody right now.
Raiola is still completing balls at a 74% clip. The biggest knock against him is that he holds on to the ball too long and he's surveying the field for too long. He needs to get rid of it and just throw it in harm's way. You can't have it all.
No, I heard the biggest knock on him was that he idolizes Patrick Mahomes. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, that's right.
Don't get
That's
it
right.
twisted.
Oh, and then I actually threw some fuel on that during a Nebraska football now. I compared him to another NFL quarterback. I said, he reminds me of holding on to the ball too long in that big, wide frame. Ben Roethlisberger.
Big Ben, yeah.
Just kind of dances around the pocket there, and then he takes a sack or two, and he says, "Oh, that's my fault. That's not the offensive line. I'm holding on to the ball too long." So you know what? Let's just every week have a new quarterback to compare him to, and see if that's his mannerisms add up.
If
right?
they add up,
yeah.
I mean, we're picking legends, so we'll take that all
right?
day.
Yeah. Just what is that? 5 Super Bowls between those two guys?
We'll take that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Or is it only 4? Once again, beat us up on Twitter, beat us up on X, and get there with your Twitter thumbs. So I like the cover. I think I had the prediction at 31-21, Nebraska, and I'm sticking right there with it. Washington put up 24. I think Nebraska can do more,
Right.
even if it is on the road. They're a big boy program. They can go out there. They can handle the travel, and I think they can handle the Terrapins.
Yeah, and I'd say the over 48.5, I think, is last I saw it. Nebraska's hit that 4 out of 5 times this season. Maryland's hit the under 4 out of 5 times this season. I look that to be an interesting play there.
Yeah.
I like the under today. Nebraska 26, Maryland 23. I think it's going to come down to special teams. There's going to be a turnover somewhere in there that really sparks things.
Sure. Yeah, and Maryland's terrible on third down. And Nebraska's defense is one of the best at getting off the field on third down. That bodes well for the Huskers, too.
That bodes well.
And that could break one of two ways, right?
Yep.
The total is right there. Obviously, I got to hit the over, not by much, though, with my prediction. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
All right, well, that'll about do it for this segment. So let's take a minute, though, to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.
WTL. All right, nice, huh? Got a talk show here, talk show with my mic. I got everything. WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Ian D. Classen, joined by
The J.O.
Hey, and we got to bring out the big guns. Rod Vermilio of the GSBN, the Global Sports Bet Network. He's going to be dropping some knowledge on us from the linemakers.com website. And he's going to start off with Thursday NFL, Thursday college. He's got a couple of syndicate plays that he's giving out for free. He doesn't like to give those out. We kind of got to twist his arm to get those syndicated plays. But this is going to be a good one with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's also going to talk a little bit about his thoughts on Nebraska, Maryland, and wrap it up with a big one out in Eugene, Oregon, Indiana versus Oregon.
I love getting his thoughts on the Huskers because he's so he doesn't live and bleed the red like we do. So
not at all.
Yeah, his comes out blue somehow. It's weird.
Yeah, he was talking to a buddy, and they asked him, well, what team do you cheer for? Because, it was just so vanilla. And he goes, I don't like any of them. I just like the Lions. So I don't cheer for any of them.
Mathematician.
Yeah.
Mathematician, I guess. Yeah.
All right, we got him on the line. Rodney, take it away.
Andy, let's jump right into Week 6 NFL Thursday night divisional matchup. Philadelphia Phillies, New York Giants. Phillies come into this game at 4-1, while the Giants come in at 1-4, and the line was -7 for Philly, and total at 40.5. Rumors have been swirling all week around Saquon Barkley, about his knee, about his sideline conversation with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, who seemed to have a heated conversation during last week's loss. He admitted to soreness Sunday versus the Broncos and only had 30 yards rushing on 6 carries and his production is way down this year at 3.2 yards per carry. All of these questions out there, the New York Giants may be just the right time for Saquon and the Eagles. The Giants have one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL, allowing 5.3 yards per carry and 700 yards of rushing offense in 5 weeks. Barkley torched the Giants last year for 176 yards rushing on 17 carries and a touchdown. Philadelphia has won 15 of the last 18 games against the Giants, and with an implied probability around 80%, New York Giants being ranked last in red zone offense. Jackson Dart has shown some improvement, but has turned the ball over 4 times in 2 starts. I would tease this Philadelphia team total at -7 down to a pick or even a half, -0.5, and match that with the over, tease it down to over 33.5. Or you can even take New York Giants plus 14.5 if the line moves in Philly's favor to -7.5. I see this as a 21-17 or 27-17 game. So that's our Thursday NFL game. Let's jump over to Sunday's action. The Denver Broncos and New York Jets go off in London. Denver's 3-2. The Jets are 0-5. So this game being played in the shadows of Big Ben. Denver's a -7-point favorite, and the total sitting at about 43. Denver had a huge comeback win against Philly, while the Jets got blasted by Dallas 37-22. The Jets are trying to find some footing with their new coach and quarterback, and I think Denver could have a hangover week after that big comeback win last week. Denver looks like an easy win on paper, but for me, I would play this with another 7-point tease. Take the Jets plus 14 or plus 14.5 and tease the over at over the 36. This game should have 38 points minimum and could get as high as 52. So that's our Denver Broncos at New York Jets play for this weekend for all of the listeners out there. And we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go with a syndicate play against the spread. Our game of the week is going to be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers -5 or -5.5, with Flacco coming over to the Broncos and the quarterback carousel continuing for the Browns. And their dysfunction continues. Gabriel played well last week at home against Minnesota, but Pittsburgh should win this by a touchdown or more. I see this as a 24-17 or 31-17 game. Take Pittsburgh -5, -5.5, and cash in on that one. Let's jump over to Thursday night action in college football. I know that this Thursday night Conference USA, Jacksonville State, 2-3 after losing to Southern Miss, taking on Sam Houston. Sam Houston comes into this one 0-5. You know, Jacksonville State has 51 new players on their roster this year. Sam Houston, 58. So, you know, not a lot of traction for either of these two teams on a Thursday night. They will get some publicity. Jacksonville State has a 91% success rate of scoring in the red zone. I would take Jacksonville State at a pick'em on a 7-point tease, with Tulane at home also at a pick'em over Eastern Carolina in an ACC matchup. Both games on Thursday night, so that would get you a play if you really want to play something on Thursday night with those two teams. Let's go to what your listeners are probably waiting for, Nebraska at Maryland. Nebraska opened up at -4.5. That line has moved to 7. The total sitting at 48. Both of these teams come in at 4-1. Nebraska has a solid offense and a very good defense, and Nebraska's pass defense leads the nation, allowing 92 yards per game. Maryland also has a decent offense, but ranked last in the Big Ten, converting on third down, and they haven't run the ball particularly well. I see Nebraska, that line moving in the right direction. I see Nebraska hanging on to win this 27-24. So I would tease this one at Nebraska at a pick'em or -0.5 and tease that total down to 41 for an in-game parlay. Last but not least, on the college schedule for this weekend, let's talk about 2 top 10 ranked unbeaten teams. Indiana going into Oregon, both 5-0. That line's sitting at Oregon -7.5. The total at 55. Not only does this game have huge Big Ten implications, but also has 2 Heisman Trophy candidates going head-to-head with Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza facing off. Indiana made a huge statement beating Illinois 63-10, then outlasted Iowa to stay undefeated. It's no surprise this game features 2 high-powered offenses, but Oregon at home has too much firepower. But I think Indy's going to keep this within striking distance, especially with a 7-point tease. Tease Indiana plus 14.5. You can pair that with your Nebraska Cornhuskers at a pick'em, and you should be able to cash that one in. Let's talk about syndicate trades, thelinemakers.com. If you're looking for subscriptions, getting all of the syndicate trades that we have to offer, powered by Global Sports Bet Network, go to thelinemakers.com. NFL syndicate trades and NCAA college football trades are a combined 27-20 with a win rate of 57.4. Whalewagers.com. If you're looking for the very best bets of the day, we're up over 30% net profits on that subscription package that is not sports specific. And that's all we got. I hope everybody has a good and successful week in college and pro football. We'll see you next week.
WTL.
All right, Brain. You don't like me and I don't like you. But let's just do this and I can get back to killing you with beer.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Classen, joined by
The J.O.
The J.O. from Nebraska.
Yeah, coincidentally, here I am.
All right. You got any new shows coming up?
Yeah, actually, we've got brand new Laugh With Me episode coming up here. Laugh With Me is my podcast.
Yeah.
If you're talking about live comedy, nothing coming this way quite soon, but we will. I should have an announcement on that here late in the
so stay tuned.
Late fall, yeah. But no, Laugh With Me, brand new episode coming out here at the end of the week. So.
Very good. And you always get some stellar guests on there. You had that writer on a couple of years ago, a gal from the Omaha area. Gosh, she was fantastic, but she's worked on some like really big productions.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about Stephanie Purcell?
Yes.
The Emmy Award-winning Stephanie Purcell. Yeah, she won an Emmy working on the Summer Olympics.
That was an amazing listen, and she's funny.
Oh, hilarious.
She's funny.
She writes sketch
quick.
comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no.
She's quick. She was
awesome.
quick. You kept up with her. You were fine. You did good.
Well, thanks.
Now, we love talking player props, so we got to get right back into it. I've looked up a couple here that I think they're going to hit, and some that we want to stay away from. I know you got a list over there as well, but I want to throw one at you that we'll probably hear of this team in the bottom 5 coming up. But Josh Jacobs, the running back from Green Bay, over 77.5 yards rushing. Cincinnati's rush defense has historically been bad, even when they're good. This year, they're 24th overall. They rank in the bottom in multiple different metrics versus the run. And it's not only that, they give up big play after big play. Josh Jacobs is a big play guy, always has been in college for the Raiders and now for Green Bay. Over 77.5 yards. I think this is a cash.
Sounds like easy money. And I love, even in the good times, they are bad. That's fantastic. And honestly, anytime you bring up a team from the AFC North, you got good chance of having a team from the bottom 5 being represented. So,
yeah.
He's a home run player. It's always fun to play him. I hate playing him in fantasy. But there you go. Well, I got early morning football, 8:30 in London, Broncos versus Jets, okay?
Okay.
We've got Breece Hall for rushing yards, 67.5. I'm taking the over. That guy hits a hole faster than a Hy-Vee shopper at 4:59 on a Sunday. Okay? This guy is lighting it up, and he's getting 64% of the team's rushing opportunities currently because his backup's out for maybe the season.
Okay.
So Breece Hall's getting the workload. Last week was the first week in that situation, 113 yards rushing. I love him taking the over 67.5.
You also got a little bit of security there, being in London, going over the pond. We see a heavy rushing attacks when that happens. Not so exotic. They keep the ball on the ground a lot more over there than they do in irregular weeks, here in the States somewhere or the Meadowlands, whatever. So, yeah, I can hop on board with that. I'm gonna stretch you out a little bit here. This is a big number. There's gonna be some sticker shock, but I think at the end of the day, we're going over. We're going over again. Puka Nacua. Over 98.5 yards receiving. This is against a Baltimore Ravens defense that ranks not last in the NFL, but second to last. The Ravens, second to last pass defense in the NFL.
Is that legal?
I knew it was bad when last week's game, the announcers were apologizing for their defense like midway through the first quarter. Talking about all their injuries. If they had this guy back, they lost that guy. That's just bad luck, No, well, that could be true, but we live in reality, and reality right now is they have a terrible defense, and Puka Nacua is on pace here to set some records in the NFL receiving-wise.
I mean, when he's healthy, he's bar none the best receiver in the NFL. It's kind of tough to top that, and it's crazy to think that over, nearly 100 yards, there's the line, and you're going to take the over and feel very confident with that.
He's doing it every week anyway, and that's when he's not faced up against one of the worst pass defenses in the league.
Incredible.
So I like that over, even though it's a big number.
Well, I've got a wide receiver for you here, and he's going to put up a big number, and that's because he does it every single week, okay?
Okay.
At 3:25, all right, on Sunday, we've got the 49ers at the Buccaneers, battle of 4-1 teams. How about Emeka Egbuka, the rookie wide receiver for the Bucs, okay? His routes are so clean that even Google Maps is like, yeah, go ahead and follow him. Like, just go ahead and do that. I like him on the over 67.5 receiving yards. He's averaging 89 per game.
Yeah.
That gap. I love that gap. Chris Godwin is back. He's not quite healthy, but he is back. And I actually like him there against Chris Godwin because he takes some of that defensive pressure because people, they're got a game plan for him. So now Emeka Egbuka over 67.5.
My God, these Ohio State receivers. Geez, they're just lighting the league on fire.
They're money.
So they sure are. Well, I got another receiver, but this is one I would avoid.
Okay.
Overwise, anyhow. Jalen Waddle. He's feeling pretty good about himself, but I'm looking at this 56.5 receiving yards. I'm thinking, nah, I don't think so. I just don't see it. I just don't see Jalen Waddle. I know he's kind of forced into it with Tyreek Hill going down, but that allows the defense to focus on him even more so. Had a breakout game last week, I think, with all the attention being diverted his way. This week, just not going to get there.
That hurts my fantasy team. So
mine too.
That really hurt my heart when you said that. And I love his little touchdown dance. I said a little touchdown dance. I'm not doing touchdown dances. But that little waddle, that gets me every time, and it always hits the highlight reels on Sports Center.
Yep. Embrace the penguin, embrace the waddle. Yeah.
Yeah, but not this week.
Not this week.
Not this week.
No, sir. He's going to have too much attention on him.
Well, I've got a Sunday Night Football winner for you, okay? And this one you wouldn't expect from me.
Okay.
At all. As a Chargers fan, you wouldn't expect me to talk like this. We've got Lions at Kansas City Sunday night. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes with the over 31.5 rushing yards. Okay. Every time Mahomes scrambles, the defense looks like they're buffering. He has just owned the running game this season. Yeah. He's averaging 38 per yards a game. It's been his play. We've talked about it just about every week that Mahomes is running for his life this year, but at times now it certainly looks like it's their best play.
Yeah, at times it is. Kelsey's not getting separation. Receivers are getting shuffled in and out of the lineup, being hurt, being not hurt. When Hollywood Brown is your guy for a couple weeks to start off the season, you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble.
You brought him over as like kind of a security type of thing, and boy, they've had to use him. And now some guys are getting healthy again. Worthy's had a couple good games, but now the scramble it's their play, and he's been leaning on it. So I like that. 31.5?
31.5.
Over. Okay.
Take the over there.
Okay. I have this one marked down, and just since it's a big name and we like to kick the Bengals around a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Jamar Chase over, or the line is right at 72.5 receiving yards. I didn't think he was going to have a game last week, and he didn't until garbage time. Yep. And that's how this would have to be against Green Bay. Green Bay is not going to allow him to have a big game until the game has been decided. Then they'll give him his vanity catches or points or whatever it is. It really gives me pause here. Looking at it, I'm like under. But last week, seeing what he was able to do after the game was decided, and he ended up putting up some really nice numbers. And that was after I watched 3/4 of the game and thought, this guy doesn't want to be out there.
Right.
Yep.
But
then he ends up with around 100 yards receiving and 6 catches. But it was most of it was in garbage time.
Well, think about this. He's got Joe Flacco throwing to him this week.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that.
Joe Flacco. So you buried the lead there because he has a real NFL quarterback now throwing to him against the Green Bay Packers.
He's really real.
Yeah, and Flacco, he ripped up those Green Bay Packers when he played them earlier this year for the Browns. So
yeah,
that's where I feel like you could get the over on this one.
Yeah,
just strictly on his quarterback alone.
Just on the Flacco.
Just on that Flacco magic.
What does that even say? The Browns in division within the same state. They're both in Ohio, and they're like, nah, you take them. We got enough quarterback problems over here.
Last year we saw the Giants just let Saquon Barkley walk. And he went in division to the Eagles, signed a big deal, ends up winning the Super Bowl. I mean, Flacco, Bengals to the Super Bowl? I don't know.
You heard it here first. That's the ultimate future right there. Pretty good odds. I don't even know if
it'd be incredible odds, yeah.
On that one right now. You got one more or not?
I got one more for you.
Let's do it.
It's Monday Night Football. It's the Bills at the Falcons. Okay, I've got James Cook. The Bills offense has looked like a Food Network special because Monday night they are cooking with James. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the over 75.5 rushing yards for James. He's averaging 90 per game.
Yeah.
The Atlanta rush defense ranks middle of the league. Okay, they're giving up about 109 per game. I like James Cook on Monday night. He generally steps up in the spotlight in prime time. That one just feels right.
It does feel right. And they're used to playing in prime time now. And that's when the stars like to shine.
Yes, they do.
We had a lot of overs there.
We did. I'm feeling the over.
Yeah, kind of positive. That was a positive segment.
Life's too short, you know?
And you know what? That's right. It makes you feel more like you're living life if you're betting the over, whether it's the total or just receiving yards, rushing yards. And it's not fun to watch a game and think, oh, man, I hope they stop hanging it to that guy. All right, tackle him.
You know how many games I hang on to the very last second thinking, I could get 30 more yards here. There's a chance, yeah.
Ja'Cory Barney, right?
There you go. Yep.
And the half against Michigan. There's my 50-yarder right there.
There he is.
All right, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is thelinemakers.com. We don't chase the hype, we decode it, treating every wager like an investment. Thelinemakers.com. We make the line so you beat the book. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.
WTL.
Capitalism is the only way, Leslie. It moves our country forward. It's what makes America great. And England okay, and France terrible.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Classen, joined by
the J.O.
The J.O. And here is the J.O. segment of all segments. I mean, this show has grown to new heights. It kind of popped off on our YouTube channel last week, the entire segment, but then also the shorts we cut up and we put out onto X, put out onto ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. A lot of views. People are buying into the bottom five and the bottom five bets that go along with it.
I feel like the bottom 5 bets, you come here for that, right? We get some opportunities to make some money.
Yeah.
But you're also a little nervous that your team's going to end up in the 5 worst teams in the NFL. This is where we decide that.
Right.
So it's not really up to the wins and losses. The standings do not matter in this one. It is about vibes, and it is about the health of your franchise.
Yeah. So much is made of mental health, mental makeup. I mean, you take all these factors into consideration. And just last week alone, 3 teams that were favored by over a touchdown lost outright. That's how crazy this is and how fickle this is. So, I mean, just thinking of all the stats and the minutia that you have to go through to come up with this bottom 5, then find the best bet out of that. I mean, Rams were favored 8.5, lost to the 49ers. Bills favored by 8, lost to the Patriots. You know the last one? This is tricky. This is a team that people forget they're even in the NFL. Both of them, if you ask me.
Both of them.
Cardinals were a 7.5 point favorite over the Titans, and the Titans won by 1 in an unbelievable ending. That game was wild, 22-21. So 3 teams favored by over a touchdown at kickoff. Straight up lost.
That poor guy that fumbled the football at the end. That's that coach, he really let him have it.
Yeah, well, jobs are on the line.
The jobs are on the line. There's a lot of truth to that. Well, we've got the 5 worst teams in the NFL for you, starting with number 5, the Cleveland Browns, 1-4. They've bounced around the bottom 5 here. They've been the worst team, and they've kind of improved their stock just a little bit to get to this 5 spot. Close loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Really thought they were going to pull that off in London. Dylan Gabriel, first start in the NFL. Not bad at all.
Not that bad. And they got the number 2 overall defense in the league.
Yes.
How can you be that bad when you're that good?
Yep. That's the thing. The defense is there. Dylan Gabriel's starting to put it together. He looked pretty good. Then the biggest move of the week, they traded Joe Flacco to Cincinnati, making moves within that quarterback room, which has been pretty full.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. My favorite part in here, I thought Joe Flacco was going to be my favorite part of the week, getting traded. No. It was Shadur Sanders getting interviewed from a car dealership lobby asking how he felt about the Joe Flacco trade. That's my favorite Browns moment of the week.
That's amazing. What do you have to say? I missed that one.
He learned a lot from Joe Flacco, and he was kind of a mentor to him. He said all the right things.
Yeah.
But you can tell he won't be the backup quarterback on Sunday, and it bothers him.
That's what I heard. It was going to be Dylan Gabriel 1, and then there's a blank space for 2, or like a TBA type of and then Shadur 3.
Yep, someone's coming up off the scout team to be QB2. Well, my best bet for the week is Cleveland plus 6.5 at Pittsburgh, just to throw the AFC North into more chaos. Because I could completely see Pittsburgh start to take a couple steps back. Cincinnati somehow still in that mix because of their first 2 weeks wins. Cleveland's not that bad, honestly.
Right.
So I could totally see that, but Cleveland plus 6.5.
Okay.
Number 4, it is your 0-5 New York Jets. Absolutely throttled by the Dallas Cowboys. They've got Breece Hall, who's playing pretty well. He's on the trading block currently. Whenever you're 0-5 and you've got to travel to London and go play a football game,
right?
That's where you kind of the players decide what's up.
Yeah, the excuses kind of find you at a certain point. And the rush defense is terrible, 27th overall in the league. We talked about it earlier, how they're probably going to be running the ball a lot over in London. The Jets just aren't equipped to handle that.
No, there'll be some business decisions made, I'm sure, by some of the the personnel there. And I love Denver. Best bet here, Denver minus 6.5. I think they take care of business against the Jets.
Yeah, I listened to some guys earlier today talking about how this might be a trap game for Denver, kind of feeling themselves, thinking they're a little bit better than maybe they are. I don't know. I think they're young. I think they like winning. I think they're going to keep their foot on the pedal. You know, they've been through it. They know that they can't just win every game and roll out like that. So I like Denver in this spot.
Hey, Sean Payton seems like an organized guy. Like he's going to have these guys on schedule. It's a business trip. So, yep, I like Denver minus 6.5 there. Number 3, this one hurts my heart. And this is how you know that the analytics that go into the bottom 5 are real. And it's not just me talking trash.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Chargers, 3-2, and they look and feel like one of the worst teams in the NFL right now.
Oh, no, you're kidding me.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, the most pressured quarterback in the NFL, and he's probably a good 80 more pressures away from being dead. He is he's a dead man walking at this point. He's the third most sacked quarterback in the lead, the 6th worst team in the NFL for wide receiver drops. The injuries are piling up. We just benched the center.
Yeah, heard about that.
This is not quite looking like the team that started 3-0, first in the West, looked like giant killers. They are suddenly on a 2-game skid, and everybody's hurt. So I feel for Herbert. That's honestly, once he goes down, game's over. But we've got the Chargers, number 3. Vibes aren't high right now in L.A. I'm taking the under 43.5 in that game, and that's because the Chargers, 4 out of 5 games this year have hit the under.
Yeah, and multiple running backs, right, are now on the shelf.
Correct. One's done for the year, and then Omarion Hampton, who's been a rookie stud, just went on the IR.
Jeez. Yeah, and that's something. As soon as injuries start to happen, they really start to happen to some teams, and that seems to be the West. All those teams out there, they're all getting beat up right now.
Now, trades could happen, and the Chargers could be back in a heartbeat.
That's true.
Things aren't good right now. Number 2, the Cincinnati Bengals. A team that's 2-3, that just traded for their, hero at this point, quarterback Joe Flacco, and immediately been put in the starting lineup with half a week to prepare. It just tells you the story of what's going on there.
Yeah.
And they made him fly commercial. Did you see this? Joe?
No.
Yes, they did. He flew commercial from Cleveland. What are we doing?
Nobody was going to bother him. He's fine. He's okay. I think Joe's just like, fine. You want to keep giving me jobs? Fine.
Oh yeah. He's a guy that could have been retired 4 or 5 years ago.
He was. He was sitting on the couch. Yes, he was. When the phone rang. He was actually watching football when the phone rang.
Yeah. He's had a heck of a bounce back. They need to take this into consideration when they're looking at him in the Hall of Fame. My best bet for this game, this is Cincinnati, Green Bay, a downed punt inside the 5-yard line will happen, plus 200 there.
That's a plus 200?
That's a plus 200. The Bengals are averaging over 42.5 yards punting, 4th in the NFL. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities with Joe Flacco at quarterback to be able to punt the football. Plus 200 to have a ball downed inside the 5-yard line.
You think with all those offensive playmakers, they're going to start playing Iowa Hawkeye football?
Yes,
they're going to run the offense through the punt.
It's the way it be sometimes,
Their scoring defense is 30th overall, giving up over 31 points per game. I was wondering if you're going to do something with that total there, but no. That is some serious digging to find a down punt within the 5-yard line. Either team?
Hours and hours. Yeah, any team can do this.
Okay.
Hours and hours goes into this. Number 1, worst team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. At 1-4, absolutely destroyed by the surging Houston Texans, who appear to have figured out whatever they had going on.
They were the poster child of our bottom 5 last week.
Yep.
And I think they saw that and said,
Motivation.
"Oh, hell no." So.
Yep, motivation, baby.
Yep, that was the motivation. That was a little kick they needed.
Lamar Jackson still questionable with that hamstring. I could see that, still lingering. I don't like him to play. Cooper Rush at quarterback, though. 0 touchdowns last week, 3 interceptions. Everything that we said was going to happen. And in fact, last week
it happened a lot more. More happened than what we said to Cooper Rush.
Yes.
We're just saying under 2 touchdown passes is all we were saying.
But, Cooper Rush at quarterback, not a good thing.
Yeah.
They are playing the Rams. I say my best bet there, Rams, minus 7.5 with the over of 45, because I think the Rams could pile that on themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 260.
They are giving up over 35 points per game right now, the Ravens defense. They just used to be able to reload and just always have a monster at linebacker, a couple Hall of Famers, at safety and corner. And, all those guys, I guess, are hurt. They're injured, and they're giving up a lot of points.
Well, the Raven way was always great defense and covering up murders, and now what do they have now? So there you go. But that's your bottom 5.
Poor Ray. None. Yeah. Beat up Cooper Rush. I'm fine with that. we don't have time for feelings on the bottom 5.
No, you really don't. I mean, and this is how you take on those feelings. You go out and you win like Houston did.
Yeah.
Houston has shown how you can be one of the worst teams in the NFL and bounce back. And honestly, a lot of people are probably looking at them as a favorite to maybe, win that division someday.
Right? Yeah. Stranger things have happened, but also, give enough grace for our bottom 5 bet to cash. So thank you, Houston, for everything you've done. And yeah, just because you make the bottom 5 doesn't mean you're stuck there all season long. So.
Yeah, I think they're in the running for one of the top bottom 5 teams of the season. If that makes any sense.
Is that what you're doing for your Chargers? You're trying to motivate them?
I'm trying to
Is that what you're doing?
Gosh,
you're playing next level. You're playing chess over there with this bottom 5.
I'll tell you what. If Herbert gets hurt, it's over.
Oh, how'd you say that?
It's over. I mean, it's over. Right now, we're hanging on by a thread. I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing a black Charger hoodie.
I saw that.
Things are dark right now.
Yeah.
Things are real dark.
It looks pretty sharp, though. But
thank you.
Yeah, I get the symbolism there. Well, thank you for the bottom 5. There it is with the bottom 5 bets. And that will about do it for Where's the Line this week. So be sure to check out our YouTube channel and those short videos that come out on each and every game day for that latest edge possible. Also, follow us on ESPN, Tri-City Radio, and their Facebook page, coming out with those short videos throughout the week. We're also over on X, that is podcast_WTL. Thanks to Rod Vermilio for stopping by and sharing us all those syndicated bets and plays and how he would lean. Love how he maximizes or mitigates risk by teasing that sucker up to 14 and a half, and then dumping that down on the total, bring that down a little. He's always moving those numbers.
Winners only, man.
Winners only from the Global Sports Betting Network. Thank you all for joining us. For Jeremy Odem, a.k.a. The J.O.
The J.O.
I'm Andy Classen. This has been WTL.